You are listening to Sarge Approved. Congratulations, you are listening to Sarge Approved. Holy shit, you're listening to Sarge Approved with Sarge and Frenzy. I feel like I'm talking very loudly. You are listening to Sarge Approved.
Yeah. Alright. It's showtime. For all the times that you rain on my parade, and all the class you get in using my name. You think you broke my heart, oh girl, for goodness sake. You think I'm crying, oh my, oh well I am. And I didn't want to write a song, cause I didn't want anyone thinking I still care, I don't. But you still hit my phone up, and baby I be moving on. And I think you should be something I don't wanna hold back. Maybe you should know that my mama don't like you, and she likes everyone. And I never liked to admit that I was wrong. And I've been so caught up in my job, didn't see what's going on. But now I know I'm better sleeping on my own. Cause if you like the way you look that much, oh baby, you should go and love yourself. And if you think that I'm still holding...
Intro time.
It's time for the intro.
We're jamming out to some Cullah right now.
Yeah, I love that Cullah.
Of course. One of our favorite musicians. This little ditty we're jamming to is called Forbid Blues.
Yeah.
Those blues, they forbidden.
They are forbidden.
Stay away from them blues.
Don't even think about it.
No. Off limits. Bad. This episode that you are about to listen to is with funny man, joke slinger, stand-up comedian Geno Bisconte.
East Coaster.
Yeah, New York. Funny guy, awesome guy. We had a lot of fun getting sit down and chat with him and get to know him. Really easy dude to talk to.
Yeah, super fun. Could have talked probably longer.
Yeah, we did have a little bit of some technical issues where, one, we were trying out a new mic, and we're actually trying out 2 new mics right now with this intro, but we were trying a new mic, and some cords got bumped during the episode, so there's a chunk that we didn't realize the cord got bumped and it wasn't recording. So there is a chunk that's just not there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to piece it together so at least it sounds somewhat fluid. Hopefully whatever audio we're missing is just a bunch of bull that nobody cares about anyways. Hopefully it wasn't anything important.
Yeah.
I know Geno was talking about like what the ultimate secret to being a successful stand-up comedian is.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
That might have got cut off.
Yeah, pretty sure.
A couple secrets of the universe, that kind of stuff.
Winning lottery numbers.
Yeah. But I'll do my best in the editing process to make sure it all comes out good. All right. So without any further ado, let's get into this, huh?
Let's do it.
Here we go with Geno Bisconte.
Geno.
Now, tonight's adventure into the unknown.
Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
What's up, Frenzy?
What's up? How are you?
I'm good. I'm rocking a new mic tonight.
You are
testing
super
this out,
fancy.
See how it goes.
Yeah.
But more importantly, who we got tonight?
We have a guest tonight. We have an East Coaster, a comedian, a freelance writer. He also studied business management and marketing at University of Delaware.
Oh shit!
We have Geno Bisconte. How's it going, Geno?
Hey! Thanks for having me. It's going splendidly. Thank you so much.
Good. We've been looking forward to your episode.
Yes.
You got called to.
I love that you did the research. That I did indeed graduate from Delaware with a marketing degree back in 1990. Period. 1990.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I like to do my research. It's good.
Oh, you did. And the funny part is, and you'll understand this. We were like, well, there you go. You've always got that to fall back on. Really, a business degree from 1990? Yeah. Where do you keep the punch cards for your computer?
Yeah.
I was really hoping we could start there.
Yeah, or
Over.
the IBM printers where it's like the perforated paper that's
exactly,
like all connected.
Exactly.
Oh, those are the best.
Yes.
Oh, I would hate that. Ugh.
Delaware, huh?
So we can't get into that conversation too soon. We're going to talk about football, but let's wait a little bit because otherwise no one will want to listen to the rest of this episode. It's too early.
Isn't Delaware?
It's a little early.
Delaware is one
Too
of those
soon.
States. Delaware is one of those states that you like from time to time you kind of forget is a state.
It's a little guy,
You forget that it's there.
but it's very
It's
important.
the first state. You realize, do you know why Delaware is the first state? Delaware is the first state because when they wanted to ratify Constitutional Convention or whenever it was time to, they said, look, we're gonna become independent of England. We all have to sign this paper. The guy Caesar Rodney got on his horse and he had the shortest ride to the Continental Congress, so he got there first. So Delaware was the first state. That's a fact. That's why.
What? That's crazy.
That's why. Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Little drop some knowledge right out of the gate, bitch.
I like it.
That's
Okay.
how I do.
Dropping knowledge.
Are you good at state capitals? Remembering.
I'm
do you
very
remember
good at
having
state capitals.
Okay.
Really?
So capital of Minnesota.
Is Jesus Christ? Is it Minneapolis?
Nope.
How dare you? Home of the Sarge Approved podcast.
It's part of the Twin Cities, but there's another city that's the capital.
It's St. Paul.
Correct.
Yeah, it's like the ugly.
Geez, 0 for 1. Literally, I'm good, and then I
not
just
starting
dropped
off
the
well.
ball on your home state. Wow. That's terrible.
Where are you coming to us from tonight?
I'm at my apartment in lovely East Harlem, New York City. Fantastic.
Nice.
Harlem. What's east? Is there a big difference between like East and West Harlem?
Yeah, there's a huge difference. Like East Harlem is also called Spanish Harlem, or if you want to get hip and call it Spaha. And West Harlem is, becoming more gentrified, but it's the old school Harlem with the Apollo and all that stuff. But I lucked into this place like 3 years ago, and like I lived in Brooklyn for like 15 years, and it's just nice here because it's the rent isn't ridiculous yet, like it's becoming so many other places, and it's for what I do. It's fantastic. Like I'm a block from the subway, and I'm like 5 minutes from the GW Bridge, so it's
cool.
perfect for what I do.
Yeah. No wife, kids.
No, they'll never find her body. What? Are we recording yet?
And no kids. You didn't get any random Father's Day cards, so you're good that way.
I did not. I did.
That's
although I have a niece and a nephew, and my album is called Uncle Geno is Amazing, based on a lot of stories with them. But it's like I've been in the biz so long now. A lot of the comedians call me Uncle Geno since the album came out, and I do enjoy that. So I'm an avuncular figure, if I can use a fancy word for a guy that didn't know the capital of Minnesota, if I may.
Yeah, you may. And I believe the capital of Delaware is Dover.
Did you look that
Dover
up?
Nope,
is indeed
I know my
the capital
capitals.
of
What?
Delaware.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
Maine
better
is
than I,
Augusta.
forgive me.
Oregon, Salem. I know the capitals really well.
What's the capital of Vermont?
Montpelier.
Very good. That's when as long as we're doing, let me reverse it on you. You're in New York. What's the capital of New York there, Frenzy?
Oh shit balls.
Oh, if you get this wrong, it'll make me feel so much better about myself for blowing yours.
Albany.
Is it?
You're a jerk. That is correct.
Yes.
Why Albany? What's so great about Albany?
I don't know.
Aren't all the state capitals weird places?
They usually
Minneapolis
are.
should be the
Like
capital of Minnesota.
Harrisburg?
Yeah.
Yeah, Harrisburg,
They
Pennsylvania.
did that on purpose just to fuck with people.
Yeah, Juneau, Alaska. I mean, I guess
Goes
that's
to
probably
Juneau.
it's probably populated there more than anywhere else. But
What about Anchorage? Anchorage is like the city everyone thinks about when
Yeah.
you think of
Sacramento,
Yeah,
California.
it should
like,
be Anchorage.
Yeah,
in California. You think of LA,
LA or San Diego.
but probably even more than San Diego, which means whale's vagina.
Exactly.
Is
Agree to disagree. Agree to disagree.
Los Angeles.
You know
I
what
don't
the
know.
best I think Will Ferrell movie is, and I'm only saying that because it comes up a lot now. And when I bring up this movie,
Please do.
people are either like, oh my god, I love that movie, or I've never seen it, or I hate it.
Okay,
I've seen the movie
don't
the
say
other-
it yet. Give us a clue, and we'll
Damn
try
it,
and guess
okay.
it. Just one clue.
It's a recent movie. I mean, I don't know if I should give you a clue or just that. It's the buddy cop movie he did.
Yeah, the other guys
Oh, I never saw
with
that.
Marky Mark.
Oh, it's another Marky Mark.
It is.
Their third movie together.
Music for the people.
It is. No, it was their first movie together, and then they did Daddy's Home 1 and 2. But
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
The
it is
funniest
so
part.
stupid funny.
The funniest scene in that movie. Did you see that one, Frenzy?
No.
Oh my god. Okay, so there's one scene. The Rock and Samuel L. Jackson play a small and short role in the movie. Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg play partner cops. Will Ferrell's obviously, every character that he plays in every movie, he's a bumbling idiot. And The Rock and Samuel L. Jackson are partners, and they're like the badasses of the cop world.
Of course.
And they basically think that they're invincible. Spoiler alert, this movie's like 10 years old. But there's a scene where I can't remember how it's set up, but they end up jumping off a building that's like a good 12 stories up, because they the guy they're chasing, the suspect they're chasing is down on the street or whatever, and they jump off a building fully confident that they're going to survive this jump. And when they jump, you as the person watching the movie is like, yeah, somehow they're going to survive this jump because they're like the badass cops.
While Foo Fighters' There Goes My Hero plays. My hero, yeah.
And then splat! They both die. Done. The Rock and Samuel L. Jackson
Dead.
no longer in the movie. And that's like in the beginning, I believe.
Special Forces zip line. These guys are pros.
You thinking what I'm thinking, partner?
Aim for the bushes.
Cops still argue to this day why Danson and Highsmith jumped. Maybe it was just pride, having survived so many brushes with death. Maybe their egos pushed them off. I don't know. But that shit was crazy. Either way, there was a hole in New York City, and it needed to be filled.
Crazy.
There's so many funny one-liners in there. It's like, at one point, Will Ferrell goes, "You don't think I'm a good cop, do you?" And Mark Wahlberg's like, "No, I've said that numerous times to your face. I've been very clear about that."
I think this isn't the first time you're hearing this. I need to watch it.
He's like, "I've said it numerous times. I've been very clear about that." And there's another scene. Have you ever seen the TV show The Detour?
No.
It's on TBS. It doesn't matter, but I was watching it. I was binge watching it, and I'm like, the woman who plays the wife is so funny. I'm like, who is she? And I IMDb her, and of course it's this girl Natalie Zaya, who had a bit part in The Other Guys, where she plays one of his ex-girlfriends. You just have to see it. But before we go off on too much of a tangent, it's a movie where I'm telling everyone listening, watch it, and 5 minutes in you'll say this is the funniest movie ever, or why did those three idiots waste my time? But I love the movie. I think it's stupid, funny, hilarious.
That's your number one Will Ferrell movie, though, huh?
It honestly is. And number two, You're going to laugh at me. It's so stupid. The remake of Land of the Lost. It's so dumb, and I love it.
I love it.
I'm not trying. Look, I'm not trying to. You didn't bring me in here for my movie skills. That's the kind of stupid stuff.
What about
that I lose my? There's a scene where he's eating a donut, and the woman's like, "What are you eating?" He's like, "It's a donut filled with M&Ms." That way, when you're done eating your donut, you don't need to eat M&Ms. That's my level of comedy.
They're put together.
That is what I couldn't. I'm like, oh my god, it's stupid.
I think it's funny though, like listening to a comedian explain his favorite movies and scenes and stuff. It's almost like people that are fans of comedy too. Like you get to kind of not get to, but you realize fans of comedians that you laugh at and that you think are funny versus other ones you may be like, I'll try it out, but not so much. Kind of like music, but movies, and comedy are all kind of in that same realm of discovering what you appreciate and think is funny.
It sounds like the rantings of a madman. Because how can you overlook Talladega Nights?
I think Step Brothers is funnier than Talladega Nights.
Yes, Step Brothers, that's right up there with it. It's hard to choose for me. Step Brothers or Talladega Nights.
What's the one where Vince Vaughn is like, it's just just Saturday. I'm going to go to the kids. Take the kids to Home Depot. Old school.
Yeah, we're going to go to bed.
Oh, old school. See, I like old. I don't like Step Brothers. I don't hate it, but everyone likes it so much that it was like jammed down my throat, and it's funny. I get it. I'm on a boat, and I get it, but it's like it's not. It's just everyone likes it too much for me, and it's like I get it. It's funny, but
it's not.
I don't know. It's not my top 5.
I had to watch it a bunch of times in order for it to have that effect on me. By the way, like probably 4 or 5 times.
What?
Yeah.
I'm told that, but then you give me Talladega Nights again with my level of stupidity when it gets sense of humor.
So good.
When he puts him in the car with the cougar to help him, he has to drive with the cougar in the car to help you. Are you out of your mind? Out of your mind?
And his psycho kids.
Oh my god! Yeah,
his kids are fucking psycho.
Like, what are the names? He's like, what you kids do?
TJ Hooker, right? No, Walker and Texas Ranger. Walker and TR for.
Yeah, the
kids are Walker and TR for Texas Ranger.
Yes. Did you know that they make Texas Ranger calendars where it's like him with his shirt off and he's like his fists up and he's like, it's June.
Yeah, I'd get one.
Don't mess with me. Like it's just like we should probably order all 3 of us one.
Yeah, I want one.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's something that needs to be done.
Yeah, they should have one in every household.
Every household should have one.
Your life is not complete.
Shirtless Chuck Norris in a cowboy hat? Yes.
Heck yeah. Oh, they have 2019 out. What? This is a pre-release.
What?
Are they all like suggestive poses? Do they show?
They usually
teasers?
probably don't have his shirt on.
How old is Chuck Norris now?
I don't know.
He's got to be like 85-ish. He's old.
I don't think he's 85-ish.
Honestly, I bet you he's pushing 70.
Okay, Gino, what's your take? Oh, Jesus. Okay.
I'll guess.
If I had to guess Chuck Norris, I'd say 74.
Ooh,
I'm going to guess 66.
All right. The verdict is in 78.
Shut up.
His birthday is March 10th.
Are you out of your fucking mind?
March 10th, 1940. Okay.
How is he that's
mind blowing. I get it. How old do you think Sylvester Stallone is?
I think
he looks great.
You muted yourself.
In the setup meetings or whatever, like Renzi knows their sports. It was very impressive. But go on, please.
Just pretty much just football. That's all I care about.
Geno's picks on YouTube.
Yes.
Are you ready to talk football?
I've been wanting to talk football forever. Like I don't.
Just admit your team made a mistake. Anyone that thinks Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback has parents that are cousins. I love that show. But he's all right. Go on.
I did not want Chase to leave. By the way, I'm just saying that I was
know
not happy.
You were raised right, Frenzy, and you believe in a thing called loyalty. And when a quarterback, Case Keenum, who's an undrafted, free agent who bounces around all those cities,
and makes a team and camaraderie between his fucking team and brings them to the Super Bowl, but it's still not good enough. That pisses me off. Anyway,
wins exactly what you said, but not just what you said, but it bears repeating. Takes a starting quarterback job when Bradford gets hurt and not just flat out wins it, because the climate of the game now, where the head coach has, and Zimmer is, I don't have to sell you on him, is a great head coach, but where the guy will not commit between Bradford and Bridgewater, and just say and Keenum doesn't bitch. Keenum doesn't do it he just shows up and keeps winning, wins the respect of like the fans at the clubhouse, and then they're like, all right, but now we're gonna go with Kirk Cousins, who just puts up numbers in meaningless fucking games. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope we're
you
sitting
are
there
too.
this coming January, and you're like, thank God we were wrong. But it just galls me that you spend all this money on this guy that has never won a playoff game, puts up all these numbers against prevent. It's the same argument as these idiots that think Colin Kaepernick is a good quarterback or is being blackballed, when really the guy went 3-13 as a starter. Yeah, but look at his numbers. Yeah, it's easy to put up big numbers when you're losing when you're 1-10 as a starter and you're throwing against a prevent defense. That's what Cousins is. Mm-hmm. Cousins has never won a game that matters. But I hope I'm wrong. I'm a Charger fan. I have my own problems. But I'm sorry, Sarge. What were we talking about? Football? I'm sorry. You go. You go, buddy.
Well, Kirk Cousins, yes, he has never won a playoff game.
Right.
We spent way too much money on him.
I think part of it is, obviously, I would have loved to have seen the Vikings give Case Keenum one more year to see what he could do, especially after the season he had. And he obviously we're getting him for a pretty damn good price based on the kind of numbers he put up. But
and let me tell you something else that bears repeating before you scream it too. He did it without Dalvin Cook.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Will you get Dalvin Cook back this year?
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, did you ever think, and this is coming from a guy who lives in New York, and do not misunderstand me, like football, and this is why I do the videos, because football is the greatest product in the world. Screw Coca-Cola, screw Walmart. And I love baseball. I'd rather sit at a baseball game in the middle of the summer having a beer with you two, talking about why they walked this guy in 4 batters down the line and all that stuff. But football translates to TV so perfectly. Al Michaels said it once, and it's just like, it's just the greatest thing going. And you're going to sit here and tell me that there are times where we sit there as fans, and I live in New York. That was one point, like when they bring in a guy like Tebow, or hold on to Sanchez, or draft Geno Smith, and as a fan, you're sitting there saying, and I'm sure you've done this, well, these guys get paid millions of dollars. They must know something we don't. And then we watch 1, 2, 3 seasons of exactly what we thought would happen. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying we do it 100% of the time, but there are certain times where, like, there must be something they know that we don't, but they don't. And exactly what you think is going to happen when Tim Tebow happens. And exactly, what you think when the Jets draft Christian Hackenberg happens. And that's what I'm thinking as I sit there watching everything you two are saying about Case Keenum going and them bringing in Cousins. Like, they must know something we don't, but all I know is Cousins puts up numbers and the NFC East has not been good the past couple years. I mean, don't get me wrong, I know the Eagles won the Super Bowl. I'm aware. But you know what I mean? It's like he's not winning any games that matter, and yet, I'll say it, but they must know something we don't. You're in Minnesota, right? They must know something we don't, paying all that money to Kirk Cousins, right?
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I can honestly tell you that when I heard that, I was very sad because I wanted us to keep Case. I wanted Case to be our main guy. I wanted to keep Teddy too as our backup, which I know that's like the whole like, oh, you love your team, you love your people, but it's true. Maybe, and probably Teddy wasn't the guy. I was at the game in December when we played the Bengals and crushed them with my dad, and Teddy went out on the field for the first time, and it was shit. It was not good, but it was still amazing to be there, and everyone was super pumped, and you could just hear the energy in the building. Favorite. It was great.
There's something to be said. Like, some guys are great backups. Go on. I'm sorry, friends. I interrupted.
No, it's okay. But so my whole thing with Case is that it's great. Like, I don't. For me, for my quarterback, for my team that I love, like to bleed purple and gold.
I've never seen you bleed purple and gold.
I will do it. Just wait. But I want it to be I want it to be a team that, I know that they respect each other and they work well together, and you can actually see that visibly. And I saw that last season, and it sucks that we went to the Super Bowl and we lost. But I think Case had a big
Well, you came within a game of the Super Bowl. A game within a game.
Or not went to the Super Bowl, in contention for the Super Bowl.
I think
Case had a part in that. And so to see him
the play where you beat the Saints on the last play of the game to Stephon Diggs, I know that's a fluke play.
Yeah.
I know that's a fluke play, but I give incredible props to Keenum because he's like, it's like 99% of people be like, we're done. He's like, all right, we're done.
No one would even gone for it.
If the play is going to, right? He's like, if the play's going to work, this is what I'll do. And he did it, and you saw his face. Yeah. Did he say, holy shit? Mm-hmm. He couldn't, but, he's like, well, and you let him go. Now I'm mad. You know what? I'm hanging up. I'm mad now. You people are assholes out there. This is coming from a Charger fan, and I'm saying you're assholes out there. I can't believe it. And, he went to Denver, and you're killing me because I know I'm going to find myself rooting for friggin' Keenum. How could you not?
I know.
He's just a guy that shows up. He's like, look, I'm just going to work my ass off, and it's ridiculous.
There was stuff I saw and read that he was the first one to show up and the first one to leave during practices during the season, even playoff season, all that stuff.
He's got a lot of potential. He's a lot more mobile than people give him credit for.
He's going to be big.
He's quick. He's very mobile, especially throwing on the run outside the pocket. He reminds me in ways of how good Aaron Rodgers is outside the pocket. At times it seems like Aaron Rodgers is better at throwing on the run than he is when he's standing inside the pocket with his feet planted. Case Keenum was really good at throwing on the run.
That's a bold statement, young man.
That is a bold statement.
I love it.
I'm not saying he's as good as Aaron Rodgers. I'm saying
Wait, let me write this down. Let me Google it. Never heard of Aaron Rodgers? You saying?
I'm not saying he's as good as Aaron Rodgers throwing on the one, but I get glimpses, reminders of how good Aaron Rodgers is at that when I see Case Keenum and how well he did throwing on the run outside the pocket. He was mobile. He had some balls on him. He was willing to take some shots downfield and throw into tight spaces. But I think part of this Cousins thing is also timing. We could try Case Keenum for another year, and maybe it goes well. Maybe it fizzles out. There isn't a whole lot of history with Case Keenum, success wise. With Cousins, there is some.
What are you talking about? No, success wise, he brought us
Keenum
almost
has more
to the
playoffs.
Super.
He made it to the
playoffs
than Kirk
but
Cousins.
That's one season.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He still has one.
Matter,
no, it doesn't, because Case Keenum has a playoff spot. He brought us to the playoffs
one time.
Kirk Cousins.
She keeps talking back like that, Sarge. You're going to see her bleed purple and gold. Am I right?
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins has never made it to the playoffs. So how is it different?
I think he's been there once.
No, he's never been to the playoffs.
They never even made
nope.
it to the playoffs?
He's never been to the playoffs.
No, Kirk Cousins went to the playoffs once and he lost in the opening round to, I believe, you ready for this? This was 2 or 3 years ago. To the Packers. Turns out their quarterback is named Aaron Rodgers. I just Googled it. Thanks, Sarge. I had no idea.
Never heard of him. No, but with Cousins also, I think
maybe what are you talking about?
Cousins was going to get swooped up by somebody, and so he wasn't going to be.
Well, that's the nature of the game. Sure, the business of the game. Forgive me.
So he wasn't going to be available after this coming season, and who would be available? That's a franchise quarterback. I guess they just weren't willing to put all their money on Case Keenum as
but they were willing to put all their money on Kirk Cousins.
I loved Case Keenum too.
They put way more money than anybody else did.
Yes, but I do have high hopes.
Look, we can go in circles with this for another 3 hours. The bottom line is exactly that. We'll know, and I hope I'm wrong, but I'm not. I'm telling you guys, I'm not going to be wrong. Cousins is not a good quarterback, and don't get me wrong. They get Dalvin Cook, so they won't need him to do as much. But this is a guy that they're just basing. Look, it's the nature of it's the business of football. Whoever is the best at their position when that contract comes up. Look, Charger fan, Eric Weddle was the highest paid safety in football for a while. He wasn't the best, but his number came up. He had the contract and he got paid. Joe Flacco was the highest paid quarterback in football for a while. University of Delaware represents, but that's just the nature of the game. So someone was going to pay him a lot of money, but I think all three of us agree that it should not have been the Vikings when you have a guy that just took you within one game of the Super Bowl.
Uh-huh.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, but
are we right or wrong? We'll find out.
It is what it is. I mean, you look at the 2005 draft. Aaron Rodgers got picked 24th, 25th. He was expected to go top 5.
Yeah.
But then he got to work under
who
Brett
went
Favre.
first overall? You know who went first overall in that draft? Another version of Kirk Cousins.
Alex Smith.
Who replaced Kirk Cousins. Alex Smith.
But
look, it's what Sarge was saying before we went on the air. He blames the Jews. They're terrible people. That's all he kept saying.
He's super racist. He's super racist. We have this conversation daily.
What?
How dare you?
So we still haven't discussed who your team is. You're obviously not a Vikings fan.
Jets fan, probably.
I am a San Diego Chargers fan.
Oh, that's right, you're Chargers.
As a child,
But
because I'm from Philly. I'm from South Jersey, 20 minutes outside of Philly. So we talked about this, you're a Twinkie. I'm a Phillies fan. I'm a Sixers fan. If the Flyers make it through the first round of the playoffs, if they even make it, I'll root for them. But when I was a child growing up, the typical Italian Catholic family, me and my brother were altar boys, 12 o'clock mass. Then we'd go visit family. By the time we got back, and this is the late 70s, where you didn't have the football package, you got 2 games, Eagles, okay? And they were usually the 1 o'clock NFC game. So 90% of the time when we got home, we were watching the 4 o'clock AFC game, and that was Air Coryell, and that was it for me. That was it. Fell in love with that team, never stopped following. That's it.
And you just fell in love with them. So what do you think about their schedule this year?
I have not looked that closely at their schedule, but I know I haven't. I know they're playing they're playing the NFC West. They're playing a couple of them. But look, I'm not worried about their schedule so much as this is a team. When people were asking me last year, they're like, in week 17, what do the Chargers need to do to get into the playoffs? And I said, they need to hit a 30-yard field goal in week 2. Because this is a team that came within a kicker of winning 11 games, but only a team as stupid as the Chargers would take an Asian kicker they found on YouTube and cut Josh Lambo because Lambo couldn't kick it into the end zone on kickoffs, and then it cost them 2 games in their first 2 effing games. You kick an Asian kicker, I can't remember his name, but if you sign an Asian kicker, the ball's going to go on a slant. We've been over that, right? We talked about that. Thank you for getting that hack joke. But the point is, they signed Caleb Sturgis. They had a great draft, and there's no reason for them not to win the AFC West. There's not. They have one of the best rosters in football, and I'm not that guy. You can ask any of my friends. I'm the gloom and doom guy that sees everything that can go wrong. But they got Derwin James, the number 1 safety at 17. They beefed up their defense in the draft. This is a team that plays in the AFC friggin' West, where you got Gruden coming in. I think it's going to take him at least a year to catch up with the game now. You got who's the quarterback that just took over for Alex Smith? Pat Mahomes in KC. Yep. It's going to take him a while. And the guy that the only thing that I think is a threat, and I still think he doesn't have enough working that new offense, is our boyfriend Case Keenum taking over in Denver. So they should win that division. They should. That's what I know.
What about the Eagles and this whole talk about Nick Foles possibly being the starting quarterback week 1? He did win the
Nick Foles
Super
could
Bowl.
very well be, because they don't know. Why would you rush Wentz back? And this is what I said about Foles last year. If you watch my Geno 6 football videos, I said this, and you'll appreciate this. You're Vikings guys. Nick Foles was an amazing quarterback for the Eagles, had some great games. He had that one, and I'm not talking about the 1-7 touchdown pass game he threw against the Raiders, but he won 7 straight games, and then he got hurt, and he lost his job to Bradford, whatever. Then he got traded for Bradford to the Rams, where Jeff Fisher became his head coach. And you know how bad a head coach Jeff Fisher is? Jeff Fisher was the coach of the Rams in 2016, and he had as a starting quarterback Case Keenum and Jared Goff. And Goff looked like a bust, and Keenum couldn't win a game. And a year later, friggin' Fisher is fired. Keenum is in Minnesota. Jared Goff is a starter, and the 2 highest-rated quarterbacks when they face each other in a Vikings-Rams game in Week 15 are Keenum and Goff. My point, My point is Nick Foles is a very good quarterback. Everyone thought he stunk because he was under that cancer that is Jeff Fisher. So why wouldn't you make him the starter if there's the least chance that Wentz can't start? Because you know Wentz is your guy. And if you play him, people are going to be salivating even more for friggin' Foles. And you can deal him whenever you want. That's what the Jets think they're going to do with your boyfriend, Teddy Bridgewater. They have all these stories going on. Oh, he's having a great mini camp. Somebody please take this guy off our hands. No. Foles, they're just sitting there dangling Foles in front of people. And will he start? Sure, if they need him to. But they know they can get so much for him when the time comes. That's why they're saying that. Will he start? Only if Wentz can't go. But why wouldn't you say that and let people know? Not even let people know. Remind people. Hey, you know the Super Bowl MVP? He might start for us at the beginning of the season. Might. And they're like, well, why don't we have a Super Bowl MVP? That's their backup. That's why they're saying.
I know, it's so crazy. But getting back to what I said 20 minutes ago, that's why football is the greatest product in the world. We can talk about all this stuff. We can. Yeah. Does it mean anything? No, but
no,
you can discuss it.
About it.
Yes.
And it literally dictates my life during football season.
It is.
I make food around it. I plan my weekends around it. I plan my outfits.
Because you were raised right, Frenzy. Because you were raised right.
I remember watching Vikings games on rabbit ears, and my dad would just be, or even on the radio, like he'd be like, "Shut up!" Like in the car, we'd be like driving. He's like, "The Vikings are on." I'm like, "Oh yeah, everybody else, shut up too."
Just to be clear,
there's a comedian out here. There's a comedian out here. You should have her on during football season if you don't know her. Her name is Amory Castillo.
Yep.
You ever heard of her?
Yep.
Yeah. Great comedian. Huge Vikings fan.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy Vikings fan. And she knows her sports and she's funny. So I don't know if you've had her on or talked to her, but she's great.
We should.
But she is the same. We talk about Vikings all the time, you know. It's just like she's the same way. She's like when they let Keenum go, she was heartbroken. She's like, why? You know? Just as a fan.
Keenum.
Like all the stuff she could talk 20 minutes or 2 hours intelligently about it, but all she could say was, why? Because that's what we do as fans. We can bitch. We're like, why would you do that to us? We're like battered women. We're like, oh, they won't shit on us again. Boom. Well, you know, I deserved it. I trusted them to do the right thing, and I just walked. That's what we do as fans.
I know. I've literally, probably this past season, and including finding out that Case was leaving, I probably cried 3 different times during the season. Literally. You
shed actual tears.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
Really?
Let me tell you something. Aww. When the Saints won the Super Bowl and Drew Brees, this is a Chargers fan talking, held that trophy up and pointed it at San Diego, I'm like, good for you. And I love Phillip Rivers. I do.
Right.
But good for you. You abandoned him, you cowards.
Yeah, isn't it crazy that at one point the Chargers had Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers on the same team at the same time?
But please, you don't have a long enough podcast for me to explain why that happened. But getting back, I will say this, Geno's Picks, which started this conversation.
Yeah.
It's a video I've been doing 10 years now, and it's what you said. It's what you both said. And it ties into comedy. It's like when I first moved up here in 2001, you know, and I'm older. I got a late start. I'm up here 2001. And I shouldn't even say a late start, but that's when I moved up here. And it's like, well, I guess I'll play the game and I'll do what you need to do to get on Comedy Central and all that. And I might have said that, but even now I don't know what that entailed. Mm-hmm. You know, so I was trying it for 3-4 years. And then after a while, it's not like I stood there and said, that's it. I've had it. I don't like the industry. I'm going to do it this way. I just said, I don't know how to do it. Why don't I just do what I want to do and see what happens? And I love comedy and I love football. So I started doing these things called Geno's Picks, where I literally would pick 4 games, 3, this was 10 years ago. So it was before Thursday. So it was 3 Sunday and 1 Monday night. And I would pick 4 games and I would just talk about the teams. And then to add one more, because it's sports and it's comedy, but then to add one more aspect, I would say, I'd make a joke, and whichever team the joke made fun of, well, then I would pick against that team against the Vegas spread. Now, the first year I'm doing this, I go into Thanksgiving, which is, you know, like 3/4 of the way through the season. I am 72% against the spread. Now, here's my point. Yeah, that's amazing. And I don't know. And I don't know because I don't know it's beginner's luck. And whenever my friend who was a bookie would say, you're doing amazing, I'd be like, I'm just picking the easiest games. And he would say to me, the fact that you're telling me you're picking the easiest games against the spread proves that you have no idea what you're doing.
That's awesome.
So it does. So by the time the year's done, I finish at like 68%. Amazing. So the second year, I say to myself, why? And I'm not betting. I'm like, why is everyone making all this money off me? So I start betting my picks. How did I do that year?
Terrible,
like
horrible,
24%.
no good.
Terrible. Terrible. I did 38% against the spread. And that's why, because you're thinking with and I'm like, I'll never do it again. So from then on, I don't bet my games. And I have 58% last year, 5-0 with my Super Bowl picks. And I'm not pretending to know what I'm doing because anyone that does, and we know this, but I have a system. Really? You have a system? Have you seen Vegas? All those big buildings? No one wins. But I've been doing it for I've had 2 seasons. I've had one losing season, that 38%, and 2 seasons, the 38%, and another one where I was 51%, which is losing, because to win against the Vegas spread, where they charge you juice or vigor or whatever you want to call it, you have to be 52.37%. But I've had 8 of 10 winning seasons. And it's just me.
You're 5-0 on Super Bowl picks?
No, I was 5-0 this past Super Bowl because I do an extravaganza where I pick the team. Okay. This is what I picked. I picked the Eagles in the over, win-win. But I pick everything. I picked the coin toss, which I won, but there's jokes in there. I picked the under on the national anthem, and I picked the over on number of receptions by not Amendola. Who's the other guy? Hogan, which helped because who was the guy?
He was injured for 17 weeks. He didn't do shit for the whole second half of the season.
But that's gambling. You know why Hogan had the over on receptions? And you'll remember this. Why can't I think of his name? The receiver they had, the speedster.
That took place for Chris Hogan?
Cook. No.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. Brandon Cooks, who in the second quarter fucking got burped and left the game with a concussion. So Cooks basically got that many more fucking looks. Remember, he turned into the guy and his head went sideways.
Yes, it was gross. I remember being like, oh my gosh.
So wait. You picked the under on the national anthem. What does that mean?
I picked the under on the national anthem. But the over-under is they give you a time limit on how long it will take to sing the national anthem.
Oh my God, you are a degenerate.
And it was
a degenerate gambler, my friend.
I am, but this was my logic, and it was brilliant. Do you understand? And watch the video if you can. It's Geno's picks, Super Bowl 52, whatever. But the national anthem was sung by Pink, and Pink's father was in the military, and they went out of their way, with all the flag bullshit, with all the anthem protests. I don't know if you remember, but they had 10 veterans go out for the coin toss, and the oldest veteran, there was 8 from Vietnam. Or some from Vietnam, 2 from Korea, and 1 from World War II.
Chuck Norris.
And his name was Woody Johnson. Woody
Norris.
Johnson. It was Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
Woody, and I said Woody wasn't his real name. Woody was what he got every time he stabbed a Jap with a bayonet. People like that. They thought that.
Too soon.
But,
too soon.
Never too soon. But that was what they did. So then they had Pink sing the national anthem, and her father was in the military. So she wasn't going to do anything other than be respectful and belt it out. And she was in and out and done. So it went under 2 minutes.
That's how it
A couple years before, I think one of my best jokes ever for the national anthem was a couple years ago when I forget who it was Alicia Keys. And I got it wrong, but the joke was great. I'm like, the over-under was 2.5 minutes. And I said, 2.5 minutes? For Alicia Keys to sing it, I said it took Francis Scott Key 3 minutes to write the fucking song. It was a good line.
That was a good one.
Who did the worst national anthem, you think?
Roseanne Barr?
I think so.
Well, yeah. Ever? At the Cubs game? Without a doubt, Frenzy, yeah.
Super gross.
Mm-hmm. At a Super Bowl, Aguilera skipped a line.
Yeah.
Vegas went nuts. Christina Aguilera, I forget which one it was.
America.
She skipped a line, and wait, I'm not done. You'll love this, because you're asking, Sarge, about the over-under. I don't know what the over-under was, but it went under. But Christina Aguilera skipped a line. So Vegas was losing their mind saying, we're not fucking paying this. She didn't sing the song. I don't even remember what happened, but that was like the dispute. They're like, she didn't sing the song.
Here,
It was hilarious. She didn't even finish it.
We got it right here.
Or I was gonna say, she doesn't even know the words.
Get that. Great
Welcome to
sound crew.
WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 U.S. national anthem performance fails. For this list, we've chosen performances in.
Oh, who was the Olympic sprinter that did it? Carl Lewis. Didn't he sing it once and he was awful?
That was. Let's see. That one's on here too.
I think it's just ridiculous when like celebrities or athletes, famous people can't even get the words right. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, did you practice? Here's Christina. Whoa, who's that dude?
Number 7, Christina Aguilera.
She's trying way too hard.
She doesn't get this part right.
The Super Bowl stage is the home to classic American suspense. But sometimes the Greek masks of comedy and tragedy make an appearance. In 2011, the illustrious Christina Aguilera began a heart-wrenching rendition of the national anthem, only to remix the vocals by the fourth line.
Oh, hailed is exactly what it should be. Gleaming.
Like a true pro, the Grammy Award-winning singer moved on with bravery.
Oh, she's so brave because she made up
But
words
the
to
audience
the fucking
experienced a
national
collective
anthem.
deja vu moment and wondered if it was all a dream directed by Christopher Nolan.
Why does she always have to do that?
Does she know that she's white, or is she confused?
Number 6.
Wow.
That's like I don't
Good
have
job,
any respect for
Christina.
any person that
Good
doesn't
effort.
know our national anthem.
All right.
It's
Black Keys 1-0. Come on, I know my stuff. Come on.
I mean, that's crazy.
Here's Carl Lewis singing the national anthem.
Oh, let's hear Carl Lewis. Come on.
Okay, let me skip this ad here.
First up, go to.
Dirty Harry said in one of his movies, "Man's Lewis put his retired to the dead as any national anthem."
Here we go.
Sing it, Carl. Sing it. There you go. That's a long O.
Oh, say, can you see? And the rock
Oh, it's the Bulls game. Is Jordan?
Whoa, that is so
Whoa.
bad. He skipped like
shit.
4
I'll make up
verses.
for it now.
Oh no, Carl.
For the
No.
land of the free.
It's like a different
That is
song.
That
unsettling.
was our national anthem.
Can you imagine if like
like the Sports Center,
Elvis Presley is as messed up as he was on drugs and all the things he did before he died, he could probably still sing the national anthem better than Carl Lewis did.
Please, it's people like us perform better with booze in our system. Come on.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, that is
but
definitely
how
a
do
fact.
you
That's
skip
science.
like 3 verses of your national anthem?
Y'all want to hear Roseanne sing
Oh,
the
that was
national
I
anthem?
already know it's shitty, but yeah, I want to hear it again.
Back
'cause
is
it-
Roseanne.
Like, I'm a glutton. Let me know.
1990, July 26th. Jack Murphy Stadium, the San Diego Padres.
Right now?
She's hilarious.
I'll
Not as a person.
say, can you see?
She's got a beautiful voice.
And punch her in the face.
Whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight are the
Okay. At least she knows the words. She knows the lyrics. Wow.
Oh, so many boos. She never claimed to be a good singer.
Wow.
It's Roseanne Barr.
Yeah, she had like 65 donuts
I
waiting
think
for
she
her
has a beautiful
after
voice.
You're crazy. I'm glad that she knew actually she could speak the words and know them.
I think she
as
nailed
an American. Like she's being kind of a gross, defile person by singing it that way. But
She finished it.
yeah,
And
it's
then
still
she-
hideous.
And then she spit on the ground. Wow. Hey, I think she has the voice of an angel.
You're weird.
She nailed it.
She did not nail it.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Gross. Her new show also did not nail it. Her new
Oh yeah, that show sucked
Roseanne
anyways.
came out.
The new Roseanne.
Well, aren't they bringing it back with a spin-off? They're making
I
a
hope
spin-off with
not.
just without her, right?
I hope.
I've heard
like,
there's been talk about that. Yeah.
I'd be fine watching if John Goodman was in it. I'm a huge John Goodman fan, but I'm good without her. Like, she needs to just go live by a place that has a great beach and eat ribs all day.
She does. She lives in Hawaii, I think, doesn't
Yeah,
she?
eat ribs, eat pigs on a
Does
skewer.
she really?
Yeah,
I think
she moved
lives
to
in
Hawaii.
She just pops Ambien.
The
and smokes
volcano's
weed
probably
all day.
getting her though now. That volcano's kind of been an issue.
Well, it depends on what island you're on.
Yeah, there's all the islands are actually volcanoes, but that's
Gino, if we could go back to talking about you for a second, we have some.
Me?
Yes, you, Gino. We have some fan mail that has come in.
Yes,
Some
we do.
Some questions.
You're lying. You're fucking with me, right?
We've been saving this for the end.
We have some fan questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay.
I cannot wait.
All right.
I thought there was a theme song you had prepped.
I'll have to find one. I don't have it ready.
Or you're just gonna edit later.
This question comes from Benjamin Michaels.
Where's he
And
from?
he asks, what is the worst heckler experience you've had as a comedian?
That's a great question, Ben Michaels. I don't really have a lot of bad heckler experiences, and I know that sounds arrogant, but it's just that
everyone loves you.
The whole reason my act is the way it is I didn't start doing stand-up in New York. I started doing stand-up like I say Philly, but around Philly and in Philly, in bars and stuff. So you would have to like go at the crowd as much as do your material. So when I get heckled, if the heckler's like good, let me rephrase. As long as I'm not sucking, and I don't, like when someone sucks, then they should get heckled. But if it's a heckler, then I can play off them all the time. So I've never really had a bad heckle where, and when I think bad heckle, I think, oh, well, it just ruined the show or it made everyone else uncomfortable. I'm the guy at shows that when someone is heckling and being drunk, I'm like, don't throw them out. Because if you throw someone out of a comedy show, it's like an exit wound in the crowd.
It can't.
It's like you can't come back and they're like, I can handle them. I'm like, these clubs think they're doing you a favor, like, oh, we'll throw them out. No, I can handle it. I know a lot of these comics can't because they suck and comedy is garbage now. And if you look at Variety's top 10 comedians right now, it's no one that's fucking funny, and it's fucking all like you have to be gay or transgender or a minority. And I don't mean that in a bad way, because one of them, the only straight white male in it, is a guy that's a YouTube personality that's more embarrassing than anyone else on the list. But comedy is about, I don't know when we forgot that comedy was about making people laugh. And you know who helped everyone forget that? Comedy Central, which is fucking garbage. Like, I'm at a point in my act now where I will say this, and I'm still answering the heckler question, where I will hear someone laugh and I'll be like, that's a great laugh. Because great laughter comes from inside you. And you laugh whether you want to or not. It's not where you're like, well, I should laugh at that because what a nice young gentleman. And, he's part of this lineup that's one white guy, a black dude, an Asian girl, a fat Mexican, and a transgender woman who doesn't identify as any sex. Fucking suck my dick. Fucking comedy's about making people laugh.
Right.
And people have forgotten that. And
they
Comedy
have forgotten
Central's
that.
a big reason for that.
I want to bring up this website that has basically it's comedians from back in the day, before social media, before people having their own websites, their own pages. Like, you just perform stand up and like were known for being funny, and that's what you did, like wherever you lived. And the website's called I don't want to say it, I guess. Maybe I shouldn't say it.
No, you
but
gotta give a
dorkly.com.
Why?
And the first
What's it? Dork me?
Dorkly. Dork and then ly.com. And it's 10 times celebrities wrote the best letters to fans. And the first one is Steve Martin wrote, like, and it's typed up, like, it's a personal letter from Steve Martin to, and it says, Dear Jerry, and Jerry's written out in, like, perfect cursive. And it says, like, What a pleasure it was to receive a letter from you. Although my schedule is very busy, I decided to take the time to write to you on my own very personal reply. Too often performers lose contact with their audience and begin to take their time for granted, but I don't think that will ever happen to me. Will it, Jerry? ? I don't know when I'll be appearing close to you, but keep that extra bunk made up in case I get to Flint, Michigan. Sincerely, Steve Martin, with his, like, signature. And then the next one is like John Cleese, and it's like typed up like a typewriter. Everything else is typed except his signature. Mr. Rogers wrote one. This is from July 1987.
Oh God, please don't read
Okay, go on.
Dear Jason, thank you for your fine letter. It was good to hear from you and to know you enjoy our television visits. You asked what my middle name is. When you care about people, you want to know more about them. My middle name is McFeely. I was named after my grandfather, McFeely. That's the name.
Oh my God, Mr. McFeely. That's amazing. I'm sorry. That's amazing.
That's the name we decided to use for the man who does the deliveries on our television visits.
Yes!
Jason, we don't know about Atari shops in Pittsburgh. Maybe your family can help you check with a store that sells computers. I'm glad to have a television show friend like you. You are special! ! Your television friend, Mr. Rogers. Like, signed Mr. Rogers. Space Ghost? I don't know who that is. Do you know what Space Ghost is?
Oh yeah, that cartoon on was it
it's kind of like,
was it Comedy Central or Adult Swim or something?
No, it's like
Space
old,
Ghost.
from
What
like
is
the
it?
80s. Space Ghost.
Oh.
It's like old.
It was
like,
a cartoon.
He looks
I
like
remember Space Ghost, yeah.
he's wearing
And it
like
was
a
like a talk
Mexican
show
wrestling
cartoon.
mask. Yeah,
Yeah,
like a Mexican wrestling mask
from the 80s?
with Batman and maybe
He did
somebody
like a talk
else
show.
mixed in.
It was kind of like Archer in a way.
Well, he says, "Dear," has the name blocked out.
Phrasing!
I want you to know how much your loyalty and support have meant to me. When I think about the success of my movies, Saturday Night Fever and Grease, I realize that so much of it is due to all of you. There have been many ways that you've let me know that you're there and that you care. I'm glad I finally have this chance to really say thanks to you. Love, Space Ghost.
Okay,
I don't know.
that is obviously
Wow.
not from Space Ghost.
Joe Biden's got a...
How did we get on this?
What?
Fan questions. You've never actually had like a bad heckler experience.
No, well, again, like, let me ask you, what do you think a bad heckler is? Where, like, a guy, like, I've never had a problem with a heckler. Like, there's never been a heckler. There have been times where, if you want to call it a heckler, I've said something in a comment, and the person has said something back that is so funny, I will stop and clap to give them props.
That's rare,
because that's
though.
what it's about. Like, I've always said in my stand-up, like, look, I'm not necessarily always the funniest guy in the room, but I'm the guy that knows how to make fucking everyone laugh the most. And if someone says something funnier, I'm not insecure to be like, no, fuck him. I'm like, that was great.
Yeah.
So it's not false modesty. Like, I can't remember a time, like, don't get me wrong, I've had hell gigs. You don't have enough time for me to go over the hell gigs I've had where I've bombed on stage. But I don't have a problem with hecklers. Like, if hecklers are dumb, like, they're just like, if you say something like, you know, like, if I come back with a great one-line, they're like, no, you're mom. And I'll be like, all right, you're dumb. And don't get me wrong, like, mom jokes are never not funny. But, you know, like, I've never had a problem with a heckler where I couldn't, like, make it work or just be like, oh, you're just not even trying, so I can't waste my energy. So,
like, you shouldn't even
again,
be called a
not saying I
heckler.
haven't. Yeah, I'm not saying I've never bombed. You have to bomb, but I can honestly say nothing stands out where I'm like, oh, that heckler ruined me, or that heckler ruined the show. Honestly,
I think it's funny because we've had quite a few comedians on, and there's been a few, I won't name names, but there's a few that have said they've never bombed, or their first time going on stage and performing comedy, they like nailed it. And
That
every
does
time
happen,
they
though.
say that, I know it's happened, but
usually the
it's
second time they
like,
completely bomb.
I mean, they've like the fact that they've never ever bombed before. Okay, dude. Like, I don't believe you. Like, eh.
It happened.
Oh no! Like the first time I ever did comedy, I killed, but I wasn't funny.
But
the first time I ever did comedy, I thought it was funny, and it was like 100 people I knew. So I walked up and said, "Hey, what's up with doorknobs? Doorknobs, Geno's awesome!" And then I think I'm great. And I do a show a week later in front of no one I know, and I eat my ass like I deserve to. But there are comics that would have walked away from that and been like, that crowd stunk. No, I knew. I'm like, oh my God, you better fucking write jokes. You stink. and I honestly, I say this to this day, I'm thankful for that second set because I honestly believed if it was as easy as I thought it was after my first time, I'm like, anyone could do this. And I was wrong, but it was like, oh, this is easy. Anyone could do stand-up. But once I was humbled the second set and was humbled and wasn't like, no, this crowd sucks. Because there are comics, we've all seen comics that are like, who the fuck told this guy to get on stage? I've been over this. Like comedy, 99% of the time, you don't want to do stand-up. It claims you. Like I didn't sign up for an open mic. A girlfriend I was dating did. And then I did great. And then I bombed. And then I was in. And then I was addicted. But I mean, anyone that's like, oh, I'm funny, listen to me. No. And the greatest comedians when you hang out up here, like my favorite comedian, I still think he's funnier than anyone. People are always like, oh, when I was a kid, I couldn't wait to get Bill Cosby, album or Richard Pryor or Steve Martin. I didn't need comedy albums when I was a kid growing up because my parents were great and it's not like they were hilarious, but I had a great childhood. We didn't take ourselves seriously. But Dave Attell is brilliant, and I could listen to his album, Gangster the Memories, front to back, 800 times and laugh just as hard the 800th time he says, them titties ain't retarded. Or, because I mean, the first time you see a penis, I don't care if it's in prison or pressed up against a bus window. No matter how many times I listen to that, that's fucking comedy. But you talk to him on stage, and he's in another place. He's like so fucking introspective. He's amazing.
Yeah, he's definitely, without a doubt, in my opinion, one of the best joke writers out there.
Yes. That's comedy. That's what comedy is. Whether you want to laugh or not, you laugh. People are like, no, only certain stuff is funny. And, the comics now think like it's about getting on some platform and starting a beef with someone. So even if you don't know who I am, you'll learn my name because I'm fighting with Louis C.K. or I've got a... No one gives a fuck. Get on stage and make people laugh. It's the greatest thing you can feel in any moment. That's it. That's it, Billy. No.
You really see comedians these days trying to like start rap beefs and
what? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you do. They do it with podcasts. Comedians just want to just sit there and be like, I have a problem with this guy. No one cares.
Yeah.
But people do care. That's the problem. Social media has made it a different fucking game, where you just, hashtag this, and no one cares. Make me laugh. That's what comedy's about.
Right.
That's why I love my act. It's like, whether you want to laugh or not, great. But that's how I wound up where I am. It's like everything I do now, between I write a sports sheet for radio, I do the podcast with Aaron, I do the show on Compound Media with Aaron Berg, and I do stand-up, and it's just like, I say what I want, and it gets me what I want. And if I'm never going to get on Comedy Central or Fallon, I don't care. I don't care because I love everything I say, and it makes me happy. I know that sounds like a Hallmark card. I know it sounds like I'm reading something just trying to make you believe me, but I do. You ask around like I show up every day. I'm like, my old man used to say it, and I get it now. When people used to ask my father, hey, Ange, how you doing? He would say, Angelo was his name. They'd say, Ange, how you doing? He would say, if I was doing any better, I couldn't stand it. And I get that now. I do.
Really?
It's fucking great. Getting paid to make people laugh and just and cracking myself up while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I know it sounds simple, but it's really that fucking simple, guys.
Well, that's
really
is. Like I think it's awesome. Even if, say, you're a comedian, you make your living off of comedy, right? You don't have a day job.
No.
Yeah.
You'd have to get up during the day to have a day job.
I know, right? Fuck that. But even if even if you never get to a point in your comedy career where you're making, $1 million a year, you're never one of the like heavy hitters that are just pulling, you're doing arenas and stadiums and shit. That just to be able to make your entire living to be comfortable entirely off your comedy career and your career and whatever you're doing creatively, that's got to be one of the most like freeing and satisfying feelings. Even if you're just getting by, I mean, you're just living comfortably. How awesome is that to know that you're doing it?
Sarge, I will tell you a story as though we did a rehearsal that led up to this, but this is literally how I got there. I swear to you. So when I moved up here, blah, blah, and then I'm like, okay. Now it's 13 years in. I just opened for Artie Lang at Caroline's, and we go back to the Cellar. And we're hanging out at the Cellar, me and him. And, Artie, Howard Stern, all that. Chris Rock comes by, sits down, starts talking to me and Artie. Well, talking to Artie and me because I'm there. So I'm at a table looking at Artie Lang and Chris Rock, right? And this is the thing about being up here. Like you don't know, but I'm like, that's success. You look across the table and say, that's success, being what they are. And I say to myself, I'm like, I've been up here 13 years and I'm barely paying my bills. And I cannot take credit for this. And I'm not trying to sell a Dianetics book or start a cult, but I swear to you two, a voice in my head poked me in the back of the head. I know it sounds nuts, but I remember this. And it said, say that again, but say it without the word barely and say it with gratitude. And I did. I said, I've been up here 13 years paying my bills. And that was the moment where it snapped. And I said, oh yeah, I don't want to be, it'd be great to be rich or famous, but I don't want to be, I'm doing everything you just said 2 minutes ago, Sarge, and I'm paying my bills.
Yeah.
And that was it. And once I said that, the universe is like, we're good to go now.
I know.
We're good to go now. You're going to do what you want to do because you're doing it for the right reasons. And I'm going to just give you enough money to make it till tomorrow. And you know what you're going to do? You're going to have faith and gratitude that it'll happen again. And it has been 5 years going, and I'm not trying to sell a book or a pamphlet. That's what happened.
Yeah,
that's what happened. I mean it.
Think about how many people out there in society, in our country, who are just getting by, working a 9-to-5 job that they fucking hate, and they're still just getting by, and they're doing something that they hate in order to do it. So even if you can just get by, but you're doing something that you love as a means to do that, how awesome is that? How much more of an improvement is that over, working at McDonald's or something you just hate?
I said it to comics before. I said it to comics before in the other direction. It's like, look, if you're going to do all this work and try and process it and say just the right thing to get this, and you can, I'm like, then why wouldn't you get a real job? Because either way, you're working,
right?
And you can make better money and get benefits. Why wouldn't you just do that? And don't get me wrong, it works for some people. I can tell you comics that do the dance and write the jokes, and they're writing for shows, and that's great for them. And if they're happy, great. I hope so. But you ask, like, you bump into anyone, like, I love everything I'm doing. And it's a fact. It's all, and it's gratitude. Gratitude gets you more gratitude. It just gives you things like the show I'm doing with Aaron Bird called In Hot Water. We just went from a weekly show to we're doing 4 days a week now on the Compound Media. Please subscribe. $9 a month worth it. You get me and Aaron. You get Bill and Joanne. You get Anthony Cumia, that guy, and it's ridiculous, but it's just, I bumped into him years ago, and he said, do you do a podcast? And I said, I do a football podcast during football season. And I said, why? He said, well, if someone asked me today if I did a podcast, and I said, the only person I'd want to do a podcast with is Geno Bisconte. I'm like, let's start. We start a podcast. Within 2 months, we're on the Cumia network, and it just goes from there.
Wow.
And it's just right place, right time, and you're in the right place. It's all gratitude. Again, not telling you something you can't read in Khalil Gibran's The Prophet, but it really is that simple. And I'm not trying to win this. It's just that you cannot convince me otherwise.
That's good, man. That shit's inspiring.
You don't always have to win stuff either. You could just have your opinion and have it
winning.
Tiger's blood.
No, I said that today. I mean, I say that all the time. I was talking to a buddy of mine about basketball. I'm like, I think LeBron's better than Michael Jordan. And I said, let me repeat that. I think. I'm not trying to win. I'm not trying. I know you're Chicago. Look, I'm not trying to win. I'm saying that's what I think. Do you think Michael Jordan's better? Fine. No, I respect that. I think John Elway is better than Joe Montana. I think that. I don't have to win.
I think Aaron Rodgers is better than Joe Montana and John Elway put together.
I've never heard of this Aaron Rodgers guy you keep bringing
right?
up.
You're entitled to think that LeBron is better than Michael Jordan. You're wrong.
He's got a weak collarbone.
But you are entitled to your opinion.
I think that. I do. Don't get me wrong. I grew up watching Jordan. I love the guy. I think Elway's better than Montana. I think Elway and LeBron are doing it with
Jerry Rice.
and are doing it with Elway didn't have Jerry Rice, John Taylor, or Rodney Craig.
Yeah.
Fucking LeBron James didn't have Scottie Pippen. Who's the head coach of the fucking Warriors? I can never think of Steve Kerr. No, am I right?
Steve Kerr,
I don't care if I'm right.
Steve Kerr's got that Michael Jordan juju that he's still utilizing.
What did you say before we started taping? You said Sarge Black shouldn't vote. You said, am I right? I don't know. It's just what I think. That's what you said.
No, I said women
That's what he
shouldn't be
said.
allowed.
And I'm like, well, I don't know.
Women should not be allowed to vote.
Yeah, that's why he's single. He doesn't like women.
Now
or
let's
black
listen
people.
while Frenzy beats the shit out of him. What? That's weird.
Right now, it's way more taboo to offend women than it is to offend any other race, really.
We're not a race, actually. We're like the same person as you, except we are better at sex and we can produce children. Thank you.
That is true.
Yes.
Women are better than men in every single way.
I'm not saying that we're better in every single way. I'm not
think
saying that we're better in every single way.
Men are inferior.
When you can carry a baby, if you're not a woman as a man, you can carry a baby in your body. And then push it out, and then you be like, okay, yeah, I guess I'll have sex with you 3 weeks later, even though I don't want to. But
way more than you.
Yeah, I don't think that's even true either. Like that's false.
I can lift you over my head.
No, you couldn't.
I could lift your entire body over my head.
No, you probably could. I could probably lift you over my head too,
Bullshit.
though. I could probably write my name outside in the snowbank peeing too, and I don't have a wiener. I could do it.
That's a challenge.
I am good at squatting.
Be an Instagram video. That's a challenge. Who can write our name more legibly in the snow? Wait, we gotta wait till there's snow.
Well, your name's longer.
With
so
our
good
own
luck.
piss. I can aim. You can't.
This is something that really has to be done, by the way.
Well, this will happen.
We're going to. Wait, okay. I have to pee really bad. I've been holding it forever.
Yeah, this is all my fault because I have the competitive gene in my body, which I don't even know who I get it from. My parents are both not that way. It's me more so, I guess. But I'm cool with it.
Maybe it's a sibling thing. Are you like the middle child or something?
No, I'm the oldest. Six years and 7 years younger than me.
Is,
right? I know. I just gotta.
I don't know.
I don't know. And it's not like I have something to prove. I really don't have anything to prove. Like, I'm
pretty much like, more... I have nothing to prove.
I don't. Like, I really don't. Like, I'm pretty much more a dude than I am a chick. Like, ask my dad. Like, my dad's like, you're the son I never had. He's got 3 girls. He's like, you're the one. You know, you come fishing with me. You watch football. I took him to a Vikings game. Like, my sisters do not even probably know any Vikings players ever in their whole lives. Like, they probably don't even know the Minnesota Vikings are a team. Like, so...
Maybe Fran Tarkins. Maybe. Come on.
I doubt it. I highly doubt it. But
you're like being nice, Dina, but I doubt that too.
Like they might own, and this is what pisses me off too, is they might own some kind of like Viking apparel, and I'm like, you don't. But like, it's cute. Yeah, great. You own like a Vikings tank top for your little kid, but you don't even watch football. There's holidays where it's we'll come over to my sister's house, one of my sisters or my parents' house, and usually it's Thanksgiving. And the Vikings usually play the Lions on Thanksgiving. And I am immediately like, here's the food I brought, and I just bypass the rest of the family and walk to the TV to make sure I can participate in the game that's going on. And that's usually where everyone else, my brother-in-laws, my dad, are congregating, and then all the girls are like, well, aren't you going to come over and talk with us? Or like, I kind of get the evil eye, and I'm like, no, football's on. Like, you guys go finished making food.
All right, I'm back.
You guys go talk amongst yourselves. I'm watching football.
Yeah, like if you care to join this amazing group, I welcome you with full arms. But I know you're not going to, so keep purchasing your fake Vikings gear for a team that you don't pay attention to or watch. It's irritating.
Okay, I have 2 more fan mail questions for you, and then we can wrap this up.
Please, what else you got?
Okay. This question comes from Corey Holmes.
Where is he from?
It doesn't say.
He's from
Lincoln, Nebraska.
Exactly.
Nebraska.
Capital of Nebraska.
Corey Holmes in Lincoln, Nebraska. Corey asks, what is your dead comedian Mount Rushmore and your living comedian Mount Rushmore?
Wait. My dead comedian and living comedian what?
Mount
Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore of comedians, dead and alive.
Oh, okay. So, my parents were older growing up. Like they had me late. So, my dead comedian Mount Rushmore is probably easier than my living comedian one. So, obviously, Don Rickles, which if you see my set or listen to my act, which you can download at my website, GenoBisconte.com, get the album Uncle Geno is amazing, or listen to it on Spotify or Apple Music. Don Rickles, without a doubt. Rodney Dangerfield, absolutely brilliant. Carlin, and I'm not just saying that because I actually got to see him twice live.
Wow.
And Billy Crystal, and I will put Billy Crystal. Oh wait, Billy Crystal is still alive, so hold on, we'll hold off on him. One more dead. Here's the thing: I want to say Pryor, but I won't say Pryor because he's amazing. I don't. Oh my God! And Lenny Bruce, without a doubt, Lenny Bruce. Danny Aiello saw me once at a show, came up to me, thanked me, and said, I was like a young Lenny Bruce, one of the greatest things ever. So yeah, so it would be Carlin, Lenny Bruce, and Rickles and Dangerfield. Oh, without a doubt, without a doubt. Just when it was a simpler time, and every one of them were like, look, they wanted to make you laugh, they wanted to make you think. Well, I mean, Dangerfield and Rickles just wanted to make you laugh, but Carlin and Bruce were like, look. They were thinking, man, and they were deep. They were into it. So without a doubt, that was an easy one. Living, I could get snobby and it's too hard. There's so I am lucky enough to live in. Well, here's why. And please feel free to call me out and be like, you're full of shit. But perfect example. Let me say this. So Amy Schumer isn't that funny. She's not. Is she funny? Yes. Is she hilarious? No. But she fits the mold, and I will defend her here. Yeah. Amy Schumer is another problem with. Watch this. Amy Schumer is another problem with Comedy Central, where oh my God, she's perfect, and she is. She's young and she's cute, and she's not hot, but she's cute enough for every guy to think, oh my God, I have a child with her. So so she before she can work on. Let me tell you, if I was 4 years in and Comedy Central snatched me up, I wouldn't say no. I need to do more spots and work on my act and no. You know what I mean? But I can, whenever someone's like, she's funny, I'm like, I can tell you 5 female comedians right now that will make you laugh out loud and lose your mind, and you've never heard of them. I worked with Lori Kilmartin last night, LA girl, started in New York or in the Midwest or somewhere, but brilliant. Marina Franklin, brilliant. Jessica Kirsten, brilliant. So I put them on Mount Rushmore? No. But they're 10 times funnier than the stupid fucking America that will watch Comedy Central and put them on. Yeah. Let me tell you, Dave Attell is fucking on that Mount Rushmore. Mike Vecchione, who no one has ever heard of, although he was just in Minnesota. I saw him at a Twins game on Facebook. Absolutely brilliant. Who else makes me lose my mind laughing? Like Nate Bargatze, young guy, brilliant. New York, LA, lives back in Nashville now, but does a lot of touring. Amazing. Kyle Kinane, fantastic. I can't do a Mount Rushmore of living comedians. I mean, I will tell you my favorite comedian right now, without a doubt, bar none, is Dave Attell. Absolutely brilliant, laugh out loud funny, brilliant, thinking man. Just lose my mind when I watch him. But I work with so many other people, it changes from day to day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
Brian Callen.
Yeah,
Brian
we went and saw him at House of Comedy last month. Met him,
That was
chatted
a
with
couple
him.
weeks ago.
Amazing.
It was like a month ago.
Was it that long ago?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean,
yeah, that
like-
was a great show. He's hilarious.
Yeah, and we don't have like a
Unique.
ton of,
Oh my-
of comedy scenes out. I mean,
Oh my god! And I'll
Minneapolis
say
is,
this, and I'm late to the party on this guy. And he's from Kevin Hart is hilarious.
yeah,
And I know that
always have
sounds-
enjoyed him.
I
I've always
never
enjoyed him.
noticed it. He's he's hilarious.
His
Dave Chappelle,
mannerisms
I would
for
put him
me.
on the mountain.
Oh, just naturally funny.
Yeah.
I think Dave Chappelle's funny. I think Kevin Hart, he's funny. The things that he says are funny, but his mannerisms and how he like kind of just is as a person, like physically, he's fucking hilarious.
Tom Segura makes me
Yeah.
laugh my ass off.
Yeah, and Tom Segura's. I think
Segura
Tom
is
Segura
great.
is hot.
I agree.
Makes me
His
laugh
voice
my
is
ass
agree.
hot.
Anthony Jeselnik, he makes me ashamed when
I
laugh.
love. You know
When
what?
I laugh at
He
his jokes.
creeps
Here's
me
the
out.
thing I love about. You know what you love about Jeselnik? If you listen to any comedian, like you can say he's like this guy or he learned from this guy. Like you listen to me, like hey, he's kind of Rickles, he's kind of a tough. Jeselnik is a voice all his own.
He's
He
his
has
own
this
guy.
cadence
Yeah, he's the
that is
Dexter
so
of comedy.
slow.
Yep,
Yes.
it's
And
crazy.
right before he gets to the punchline, you think you know what he's going to say next. And that's when you say it, and he says something completely different. Oh,
And it's so smooth and like so
he does the bit-
calculated, where you're like, "Are you a fucking
what's the
psycho?
one he does?
You are a psycho."
That's
and
one of-
I'm good
his
with
girlfriend's
it.
like,
Actually,
I'm addicted to. His girlfriend's like, oh, I'm addicted to chocolate. She's like I just can't get enough chocolate. He's like, so I put her in the car and I took her for a ride and I drove to this really bad part of town and I showed her these crack addicts that were sitting there just strung out, waiting for their next fix in their haggard outfits and nothing but skin and bones. And I looked at her and I said, why can't you be that skinny?
right? Exactly. Like no one dares to go that dark.
He's so
And he's always like, but
really,
no one
and
can
you
be as
think
funny
you know where
as
he's
me.
going, like, oh no.
I'm super
Yeah,
fucking funny. I make my
amazing.
girlfriend feel like shit, but I don't care because I'm fucking funny.
And his delivery is like a cold-blooded sociopath in his delivery.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just he like American Psycho. He's just killing you with a chainsaw, just methodically and worried about like getting his like the double layer business cards made. Brilliant. Agreed.
Well, it's the psycho part of it, but then it's also like he's preparing the butter to add to the waffles or the pancakes or the baked potato you're just fucking spent time making, and that's gonna justify like your whole wanting to eat this crappy food, but he's preparing you for that.
It's so fucking
He's
brilliant.
the melted
Yeah, I
butter.
agree.
He melts my butter. In not a good way sometimes, but I listen to him still.
Okay, we got one more question for you. Are you ready?
What do you got for the good guy?
This one's from a lady, Geno Bisconte.
Ooh.
All right, this one comes from Anna Bradley. Anna Bradley asks, Geno, if you are single, how big is your penis? If you
gigantic.
If you are not single, how big is your penis?
She really wrote that?
Yep.
Slightly above average. Let's go with that. You can't prove or disprove that, so that's what I'll say.
Perfect. That's the best way to play it. There you go, Anna. All right. You want to let our listeners know where they can find you and what you got coming up soon?
I'll be in LA. When does this air?
We're going to put this out. Should be out Tuesday.
Whenever we feel like it.
Yeah. Next week.
You Minnesotans in St. Paul or wherever. I'm going to be in LA the first week of July. I'll be headlining Harvell's Comedy Club in Long Beach on Tuesday. I'll be at the Comedy Store on Thursday. Back in New York, I will be at New York Comedy Club on the 8th. I will be at Stand Up New York on the 23rd. I'll be in Chicago, all over the place. But please, go to Geno Bisconte. Here's what I need you people to do. I need you to go on to Sirius and tell them to play my album. Don't get me wrong, it's moving great. It's Uncle Geno is amazing. Find it at GenoBisconte.com. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Everything is GenoBisconte. Don't worry if I spelled it too quickly, because you can't spell it wrong. If you Google Geno Bisconte comedian, it comes to me. No matter how you spell it. Spell it with a J. Spell it with a Y.
I encourage you to spell it differently just to see what happens, because you will still find your way.
We did that once. I was on a radio show. They're like, watch this. I'm going to spell it Jinu. They're like, this guy? I'm like, that's me.
Yeah, that's what I say.
You can't spell it wrong.
I encourage them to type
Sirius
it
XM. Call Sirius XM and request my album on Raw Dog if you can. If you guys know how to do that, but that's it, man. Everything's great. It's all gratitude. Read The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. Everything's awesome.
You're a funny.
And I hope to God I'm wrong about Kirk Cousins, but I'm not.
I hope so too. I'm sure we'll talk soon.
Yes.
Mid-season. We should just schedule another episode mid-season.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. And I'll, if you want to check on my picks and everything, I'll send you Geno 6. But and don't get me wrong, maybe it doesn't matter about him because we all agree Dalvin Cook, knock wood. I'm knocking wood out of respect to you guys. He surprised the fuck out of me.
Yeah,
like I knew he was good, but I watched him play. That kid's something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep, I agree with you.
Yeah, he's going to be our little Devontae Freeman.
Ooh. You're making frenzy all hot. I should let you guys go. What happened?
Hopefully he doesn't turn into Larry Johnson.
Oh, remember him.
Oh, remember him?
Larry
He got
Johnson?
injured second.
Oh, David Johnson.
Or David Johnson, yeah. Got injured week 2. That was sad.
Oh, David Johnson. Okay, I was thinking
you
Larry
knew who I was
Grandmama. He was
were you thinking Larry Johnson
now,
from
but
the
I was
Hornets?
misled.
Yeah. Okay. I misled you.
No, I meant Larry
apologize.
Johnson, the running back from the Chiefs and Penn State. What a mess.
No.
Anyway.
That was my bad. I apologize for the confusion.
Geno, we got to have you back on once football season rolls around.
Oh, let me know. I'd love to. You guys are great.
Awesome. We appreciate you sharing your
Yes,
time with us
thank
tonight,
you.
brother.
Oh, and thanks for working around my schedule. It means a lot to me. Thanks so much, guys.
Of course.
We know the life of a comedian.
That's how we roll, yo.
Yeah, that's how you roll. You don't gotta. You're not punching a time clock.
Yeah, and we're flexible. I do yoga. Sarge just tried it. He's not very good at it, but we're still flexible.
Yeah. God bless you, Sarge. My girls always try yoga. I'm like, I'll do it, but it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good.
She'll do an entire podcast with her legs behind her head just to fuck with me.
That's how I get most of my work with my legs not important.
Yeah, ankles behind her head. Yep, whole time.
Yeah, it's good for the
For
body.
you listeners.
Very nice.
All right, Geno, my friend, brother, you are Sarge approved.
Yes, happy Independence Day / 4th of July.
Merca.
Blow up
enjoy
some
yourselves
shit.
out there. Go Twinkies, people.
Yes, I agree.
All right.
We're gonna win, twins. We're gonna score. Do you know the song? You don't know it, Sarge. That is disappointing.
Skull Vikings.
I do not know.
All right.
It's okay.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Nope. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
In conclusion,
Outro time.
all right, we are done.
We're done. That was super fun.
Geno,
great guy.
Yeah, blasty blast, without a doubt. Sarge approved, right?
Definitely.
Across the board.
All the things across.
We have coming up on the Sarge Approved podcast here. We're going to be recording with a good friend of ours, George Wells.
From Minnesota.
Yeah, survivalist guy. We got to meet him through Tracy Wilson.
Yeah, last summer.
Yeah, if you recall, if you're a fan of the TV show Alone on History Channel, Tracy Wilson was in season 2, right? And we had her on the show, got to know her, and awesome lady. And she actually went out of her way to came to Minnesota and showed me and Frenzy, her and George, met up with us and gave us like this bow drill training class and stuff, just out of the goodness of their hearts, just to show us how to start fires with a bow drill and all that.
Yeah.
Gave us some really cool handmade tools and stuff,
Flint and steel
strikers, all that. Yeah, really cool. And George Wells is a super nice guy. We're looking forward to talking with him.
Yeah,
we love survival dudes.
Yeah, they're great. They're the greatest, nicest people, every one of them. It's
awesome. All right, anything else?
No.
Anything else we need to announce?
Mm-mm.
Good. Okay, we're gonna play out this episode with a song by Luck and Doc, because Geno's a New York guy. This song's called "Let's Go Brooklyn."
Sweet.
All right.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Bye.
Later, fuckers.
Let's go, Brooklyn. Let's get it started. What you heard? Come here to party. What's that? Star power. Look it. Brooklyn. Whip it. Both lane 'em. Oh yeah. Oh, let's go, Brooklyn. Let's go, Brooklyn. Shake it.